We also are looking at Enugu, particularly in the conversations that we've had thus far. And I told you that the Enugu State Government, the Commissioner for Finance, was here talking to us about the 170 billion naira
Yes.
loan. I would tell you a little bit about what they've put out there as what the loan is supposed to do. There is 100 billion bank guarantee, which is approved, and it's for payment for contracts issued to approved contractors. There is a 10 billion loan that is supposed to help with recurrent expenditure, salaries, and all whatnot. There is a 50 billion credit facility. There's 100 billion overdraft facility, and all of this. And these things are tied to what's called an irrevocable standing payment order. On the consolidated Enugu State internally generated revenue. You want Enugu State to industrialize. Some people have criticized this particular move for this loan. What are your thoughts about it?
Okay. Loans, you see, we have to realize that loans are not a bad thing, right? Nigerians want to kick against loans. When government wants to take loans, Nigerians always want to kick against it. Loans are not a bad thing. America owes China, billions of dollars, in borrowed funds, right? Even China take loans. Countries around the world, even the best countries in the world, Japan, as a matter of fact, owes an enormous amount of, loans collected, right? But the question is, where is the loan going? Now, in investment, you have something we call assets and liabilities, right? If you borrow money, whether you're a family, you're a company, or you're a country, or you're a state, you borrow money and you put it in liabilities, you're asking for trouble, right? Because what is liability? Liability are those things that take money out your pocket, out your bank account, right? And assets are those things that put money in. So if a government borrows money and decides to put it in liabilities, then the state is in trouble. So if Peter Mba, as governor of Enugu State today, borrows this amount of money for liabilities, then Enugu will be in trouble. But if the money is going, he talked about capital projects, if it's going partly to capital projects and then into assets that will generate income for Enugu State, then it's a welcome development. But let me tell you why people kick against loans. Our politicians have been proven to not be dependable and trustworthy. So this government is like a man that has married a new wife. You have to give them time to actually understand each other, learn the ways of each other. We don't know Peter Mba for certain. We can't say we know everything about the man and what he's going to do. We don't know his cabinet. We are learning them, right? Now, it is up to them to prove to us that they are dependable and that we can trust them. We've seen governments take loans in the past. Actually, loans are an easy way for politicians to fleece money because they're not internally generated. They are taken from outside. And so it's easy for them to fleece money. So if this man was a selfish man, then of course, he spent a lot of money running his elections. If he was a selfish man, he would want to take all his expenditure on the elections up front. But I'm not saying that's what he's going to do. I don't know. But he needs to prove to us that we can trust him. Now, if he's not selfish, and if he's really determined to develop Enugu, these funds will help him do that. But what we're saying is make sure you're putting part of this money into capital projects, but make sure you're investing in assets that will put money into Enugu State coffers. Don't just do capital projects, road, houses that don't. Sometimes if you do that and they're not putting money directly back into the coffers, it will be a big mistake. And that will actually protract poverty in Enugu State. Generations unborn will have debts to pay, right? And that will mean that Enugu people will continue to suffer, right? I hope that is clear on that one. Now, somebody talked about the yuan naira exchange. It was beautiful that he talked about that because yes, a couple of years ago they told us that China and Nigeria had signed the pact, which is this was my advice in 2007 around the credit crunch time. I went to Dubai and I found it so difficult because I bought money here and I went to Dubai and I saw how much it was costing me to change the dollar. First of all, I changed the naira to dollar and then got to Dubai. I had to change the dollar again back to the Dubai dirham, and I saw how much money I lost every time I was trying to change from one currency to another. And I started saying that what we need to do is cut out this dollar as a trade term and go to our trade partners and have an exchange with them. So it was a beautiful thing that Nigerian government thought about, opening a system where Nigerians can go to China and buy just using that exchange.
Okay.
But it never came to life. IMF was responsible. American government were also responsible for that not working. I would hope that this government will bring that back. Moses talked about, I think it was Apex that talked about, why didn't we industrialize the last 8 years since these goods were put in the banned list? I believe that if our governments were really responsible, it would have been an opportunity for us to industrialize around this product, and ensure that by today we are producing these products in good numbers. We wouldn't have been talking about removing them from the ban list anymore. Then finally, I want to advise the Enugu State Government, right, to go into cash crop farming. Cashew they say that Enugu and Southeast has a comparative advantage on cashew as an export product. Cashew is a major export product. But can you imagine that the cashew that Enugu is exporting is a cashew planted 40 years ago? It's no more viable in the international market. What they actually use it to do is that they use it to, they buy from Vietnam the jumbo seeds and buy these our own and mix it up, downgrade, and then export. What we need to do is we need to start planting cashews everywhere. We want to see cashew farms everywhere around Enugu. Right? The new jumbo Brazilian seed, which is the standard for export right now. We want to see those. We want to see hibiscus, that is Zobo, farms everywhere. These are cash crops that are highly exportable. Katsina State, I believe, makes up to $17 billion annually or more from just shipping out Zobo. We need to farm those in Enugu. Every cash crop that is exportable, we need to begin to invest heavily in farming this, because what happens is that it gives Enugu a comparative advantage to have exportables, right? The communities who own these things, it will create jobs for them. In the communities where you plant these farms, it will create jobs for them. They can take care of the farm and sell to the middlemen who eventually sell to exporters. And that would help bring in forex to Enugu. Export must be reactivated in Enugu State. I want to tell you finally why the Nigerian buyer is the worst buyer any business can cater to right now. Nigeria's, what we call gross national income, is very low. The wages of the Nigerians and salaries are very low. That means with the high inflation and with the high cost of things, Nigerians are removing a lot of important products from their buying list. And these companies that produce these products are dying because Nigerians are not putting money there anymore. So what we need to do is to teach every Nigerian businessman, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you sell, we teach them how to come in as cooperatives, get the same commodities they have, and target booming economies. Right? Kenya is a good market for Nigerian Indomie. Now, Indomie is burning in, sorry for calling that name, noodles, Nigerian noodles are booming in Kenya. So we need to teach Nigerian business people how to take their commodities, target countries like Kenya, target countries like Cape Verde, target countries like America, different other countries that need our commodities, how to relocate their commodities to these booming economies. And what that will do for Enugu State is bring in a cash flow of forex for Enugu State that would actually help buffer the economy and grow the state's GDP. Thank you.